Almiron trying to slip in. Gressel's a beautiful pass. Martinez, it missed him out. Escobar!
Valeri outswinger this time. Header, what a save by Mealy.
This isn't Atlanta yet. Getting those Airbnbs locked in, maybe getting the refundable flights just in case. Feels like we're probably headed south for MLS Cup. That's December 8th, leg one of the conference championships in the book. Atlanta United 3-0 winners at Mercedes-Benz Stadium against the Red Bulls. Deja vu for the red side of New York, and 0-0 in the nightcap in Portland, Sporting Kansas City, and the Timbers playing to a deadlock. Maurice Adu, Kalen Carr, Matt Doyle, Bobby Warshaw at the board.
I've never been to a Waffle House.
Really?
So, I mean, we're going, right?
Doyle,
Yeah.
on me, man.
All right.
I got you.
All right.
Me too? Yeah, of course, of course. We're making a lot of assumptions, though, clearly. That's because 3-0 is a deficit that has never been come back from after leg one in a two-leg series here in Major League Soccer. Mo, I'm going to start with you, man, before we get to the highlights. Your big picture takeaway from tonight. What sticks with you?
I'd say New York. I'd say Red Bull. I mean, you had a system, you had a game plan that's worked for you throughout the course of the season. You set all kinds of records. You won the Supporters' Shield. Why deviate from that, right? Atlanta, credit to them because you got to play the game that's put in front of you, and I think they went out and did that. There was so much made about what would change and how they would set up their lineup. They took what was put in front of them. They executed their game plan perfectly well. 3 goals. They could have been a lot more. I think they've made this mountain a little bit too hard to climb.
Deja vu, Doyle? You know a little bit about the That's So Metro
I mean,
meme out there.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit like that, though not so much last year because I think Toronto was just clearly a better team than New York this year. I'm not sure that Atlanta are actually a better team than the Red Bulls, so they clearly were today. I think it goes back to what Mo said, and I don't blame Chris Armas a ton for this because it kind of made sense to change it up a little bit when you lose a player as influential as Kamar Lawrence, but in the process they lost their identity. And then when you do that, you make simple mistakes and make mistakes against Atlanta, go to Waffle House.
That's the Eastern Conference.
Yep.
The West, 0-0. Tell me what we should think about this game. Tell me what the people at home should be thinking after they watch this one.
Well, it was a well-played game. I thought both teams can take positives out of the result. I think Portland had the better of the play in the first half, and then Sporting Kansas City found their footing a little bit in the second half. Were able to create some opportunities, especially out wide through Johnny Russell. But yeah, it's going to all come down to the second leg and get a chance to, maybe book their trip to MLS Cup as well in cold temperatures. I think that one in Kansas City is going to be brutal.
Probably not MLS Cup, though. Like I said, probably going to be indoors. We shall see. I'm doing a lot of probablys here. Bobby, we may talk about some video assistant refereeing on this show. What's your take from tonight?
I don't want to talk about the refereeing. We'll talk about that later.
Good man.
I got to go back to that first game, and I'm with Doyle. I'm okay with the way Chris Armas set up that team. Yes, he dropped a little deeper, but if you think about the game how it would have been played out otherwise, Atlanta was just going to play long. They weren't going to be able to press. Armas did the right thing. It's not mutually exclusive to say that Armas did the right thing and it didn't work out. I would say this game was about how incredibly good Atlanta were, especially in the final third. When you look back in the modern history of MLS, this is probably the most lethal team in the final third, maybe only compared to the LA Galaxy teams with Donovan and Keane.
There you have it. 3-0 winners, Atlanta United. All right, here's our poll question for tonight. And of course, it centers around the Red Bulls. Yep, there it is. Do you think they have a chance to advance? No way. Atlanta all the way is gathering the votes, as you might expect. Red Bull fight, but fall short's got something. 13% are saying there's a miracle going down on Thursday in Harrison. We'll get the highlights of that game in just a little bit. That's where the goals are. But, of course, we just finished up with Timbers Sporting Kansas City. Here's how it went down. Oh, yeah, the double post. They could have used it tonight. They could have used it. There were some moments, just like this one, where they needed a little bit of help from physics.
And this one right here, in the first half, I thought Portland was able to get out on the break numerous times, but that's Graham Zusi making a spectacular defensive play. He made another great one later on as well. Neither team had the final touches that they wanted. That right there, you would put money on Johnny Russell banging home, and this hey, Bobby doesn't want to talk about the refs, but that was the right call.
It was a goal, then it wasn't a goal, and two guys were offside in this place, both Guzman and Liam Ridgewell. Ridgewell plays the ball back across, Guzman scores it. They think they have a 1-0 lead. They do not. It is 0-0, nothing in front of Timbers Army. Headed back to Kansas City. In a lot of ways, like you said, Kalen, both coaches can be happy with something like this, but now it creates a situation where it's a must-win, and now away goals will play a role in that second leg. What won't play a role, however, are yellow cards. Peter Vermees said after this game that he liked the way Robert Sabiga refereed it, and Robert Sabiga let these guys get away with an awful lot. The question I have is, did you like Peter Vermees' game plan? On the flip side of Chris Armas's, did Peter Vermees do the right thing, Mo? Coming in, not pushing the issue, I think in a lot of ways saying, we're okay with 0-0. If we pinch one, great, but let's not give one away.
Yeah, look, I think in the last series against Salt Lake, they showed that they're a team that's a better team at home. They're confident at home. They play more expansive football, soccer.
It's okay. It's okay. You can use
gotta
the
pick
F word.
and choose, you know?
Use the F word if you want on this.
They're a more confident side at home. It's a hard place for teams to come in and play there. They possess the ball a lot more. So yeah, the game plan today: don't concede. If you can nick one and go back home with an away goal, that'll play a huge role for them. But going back to Kansas City, I think they'll feel like a confident team that can get through that game and into the final.
Yeah, Mo, I totally agree. I think they're going to be fully confident coming off this one. I was really impressed by their performance. Without their number 9, Diego Rubio, you knew they were going to be not have that same sort of bite in the attack. And Shallowy and Russell did a lot of the defensive work to be able to get behind the ball, and then had their opportunities on the break a little bit. So they tried to make it physical. I thought Graham Susie was immense tonight, as well as Tim Melia, who has had such an incredible season. I think 18.
Shutouts?
Yeah, was it 18 shutouts?
No, it wasn't 18. It was 13. But
13.
yeah,
It feels like
he was
it's close.
fantastic. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
No, I mean the guys on the back line who we've talked about for Sporting Kansas City for half a decade now. Zusi, Beasler, Iko Para had another good game. Tim Melia had another good game. Sestanovic. They all went out there and they turned it into a cage fight. But you're right. They didn't play typical Sporting Kansas City soccer, and you can see it in Graham Zusi's touch map. Like, he only got into the final third twice, and that's not the way Zusi's been playing all year. And I think it was smart to play for the 0-0. It puts them in a good position going home.
All right, let's hear what Kansas City had to say. Susanna Collins was at Providence Park. She caught up with Iko Para and Peter Vermees.
All right, Ike, a scoreless draw here. Why were goals so hard to come by in this one?
Two teams that won it. This time of the year it wasn't pretty. Just trying to put our bodies on the line and do whatever it takes to keep the opponent from getting in our goal, and they were thinking the same way. So it didn't make for the prettiest of games, but we did what we needed to do to get out of here with a draw. We would like the road go, but now they got to come to our house.
They came out aggressive, especially in the first half, kind of beat you at your own game in the game of possession. What were the big takeaways for you tonight, and how do you put that forward till Thursday?
I think more, looking at us, we can do some things better for sure. But to come here in this environment and do what we did, and maybe we could have even gotten a goal on the other end for us, it's pretty big time. I think the guys have, put in the effort first and foremost, and I think come Thursday it'll be in our favor.
We've seen that this Portland team can win on the road, especially in the playoffs. How do you prevent that from happening on Thursday?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I can't tell you right now, right? No, we got to be locked in. They leave some guys high, and their counter's really good. And we know what they're looking for. And as much as we know that, it's still hard to stop sometimes. So we've really got to be locked in from minute one on Thursday.
Ike, safe travels home. Thanks for the time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Coach, we know that Sporting Kansas City is a team of possession, but Portland kind of beat you at your own game tonight. What were the big takeaways for you guys?
We kind of knew how the game was going to go. I don't think it was any different than what happened here tonight. I think the second half for both teams, I think, was a lot better than the first. Look, we can't go into everybody's place, week after week and always own possession. The good thing, though, is I don't think we gave up the ball in critical areas, which put them on to their strength, which is a counter.
How do you go into Thursday and prevent them from scoring the way you did here tonight?
I mean, I think both teams realize they have to do this. Both teams have to win. So you have to win. That's what we have to do, and so do they. And we're going to play a game to it's going to be like a final at home. So that's what it'll be.
It was a chippy match out there. From your perspective, is that just sort of symptomatic of the playoffs?
I don't know if it was. I think it was just a lot of guys fighting and having desire, and there's always a little bit more aggression and intensity, and I'm good with it. I thought the referee crew did a great job.
Thanks so much, Peter, for the time.
Thank you.
Speaking of that refereeing crew, Robert Sabiga let him play in this game, and that was important because Diego Chara, Diego Valeri, Liam Ridgewell, Roger Espinoza, Andres Flores, all those guys would have been suspended for leg 2 with a yellow card. As we go through here, 31 fouls, and throughout this game, Mo, you, Kalen, myself, Bobby, Matt here, we're all saying, yeah, this is getting chippy, and he's letting it fly.
And I'm glad he did, in all honesty, because this makes for a good second leg in this game. To lose a guy like Valeri, who could have picked up a yellow card, as you see on that tackle there, or Chara or Liam Ridgewell, those would have been a massive loss for Portland and then for the series in general. I think we all want to see both teams at full strength. It makes for a more entertaining game and a higher quality level of competition in that next game in Kansas City.
I mean, those look like yellow cards to me.
Maybe
not the Chara one, but like, definitely the Valeri one.
We see this every year in the playoffs, right? It's playoff soccer, and certain things that maybe get whistled a little more frequently in the regular season don't get whistled in the postseason. If the coaches are happy with it and the fans are happy with it, then who am I to say? Who am I to not be happy with it?
What do you mean?
I know. That's going off brand, aren't I?
All right. Peter's happy with it. We're happy with it. What does Gio Savarese say? Let's find out.
How much did you talk about the yellow card situation with the players you had coming into this game, and how important is it knowing, specifically with Diego Chara, that you're going to have him for leg 2?
They're smart players. They know what to do and what not to do. And I thought also, I think the referees have been very good in helping in this playoff stage to make sure that there's no, any yellow given for no good reason. And I think they have been able to make sure that the players that need to be playing continue to play. So credit to the referees and credit to the experience of the players, from, I will say today, both teams.
All right, that's Savarese's side of this. Let's talk Larius Mabiala, starting center back, came off after 18 minutes, I should say. 13, 18, 8, it all goes together, Kalen. But he has a lower right leg injury, according to Katie Witham. We don't know what the severity is, but we know Thursday is that second leg, so he does not have time to recover here. Gio Savarese, happy with the refereeing. Should he be happy with the result here? Because, yeah, they didn't allow an away goal, but they didn't get any goals at home. They don't go away. They didn't use, quote-unquote, that home field advantage in the way you might have thought, Noel.
Yeah, they didn't. And Mabiala, I would have thought was a big loss, but Bill Tuiloma came in and played a really good game for the second time in these playoffs. So maybe they can do it without him. Portland's never been a great road team. That said, they don't have to go there and win. 1-1 gets them through. So I think all things considered, you probably take that if you're Gio Savarese.
They also just came off a huge road victory against their biggest rival.
A road loss that was a victory.
Well, yeah, but they got the result, right, that they needed, and that's what they're going to have to do here as well. And I think this team is designed to be successful on the road, in large part due to the fact that they are good in blocks defensively and then good on the break, getting out on the attack, which they did well tonight, just weren't able to find that finishing touch. And then you always have the X factor, Diego Valeri, standing over set pieces. To give yourselves a chance.
Would you be worried if you were Peter Vermees, Mo, about the fact that your best attacking players didn't really show much in this game?
I wouldn't. No. I mean, you heard his quotes there about what they expected from the game and what they take away from this game. And like I said before, I think they're confident. You heard Ike Opara saying it. Now they have to come to our house. So this is a team that's very confident. They know what they can do at home. They've shown what they can do at home over the course of the season and in the playoffs. So no, I definitely wouldn't be too concerned because you're still believing in the strength of your team. And going home, it's going to be a hard task for Portland. But on the flip side of that, because Sporting Kansas City is going to be a little bit more expansive, going to have more of the ball, that does create opportunities for Portland to sit in that block, absorb that pressure, and exploit spaces in the counterattack. You talked about Graham Zusi not getting into the attack as much. You would expect them to do that now when they're at home, and that's going to create a large gap in that right back position for them to exploit on the counterattack.
A lot of teams have exploited that this year. Liam Ridgewell has won a championship in Portland. He's still chasing that. Susanna Collins caught up with him after this match as well.
All right, so Liam, a scoreless draw here, but more importantly for you guys, a clean sheet. Defensively, what worked for you well tonight?
Yeah, we defended very well as a team and kept them to little chances. We knew it was going to be a tough game. Two very good teams, two very good defensive teams, and on to Thursday we go.
Sporting Kansas City, a possession team, but you guys beat them at their own game tonight. How are you able to execute that game plan so effectively here?
Well, we're at home. I'm sure they were sitting off a little bit and let us have the ball a little bit more, and we just need to be better with the ball, and if we can get that possession on Thursday and create a few more chances, we can win the game.
We've seen how this Portland team has been so successful on the road in Dallas, in Seattle. How do you do it again in Kansas City?
Yeah, we just keep rolling. I think everyone writ us off when we went to Dallas, and I'm sure people will be a little bit scared come Thursday, knowing we can go away and win it some tough places.
Liam, thanks so much for the time.
Thank you, cheers.
On to Thursday we go. It seemed like both Sporting KC and Portland were pretty content to have it play out in leg 2. Here you see the schedule, 7:30 p.m. Eastern at Red Bull Arena. A 3-0 deficit to overcome. Watch that one on FS1, TSN, TVA Sports up in Canada, and then at 9:30 p.m. we will know what that MLS Cup matchup is as Sporting Kansas City hosts the Portland Timbers at Children's Mercy Park on ESPN. We, of course, will be there to give you the pregame show Thursday with Alan Gordon himself, fresh off retirement. No word on what he'll do with his wardrobe selection for this one. 7 p.m. Eastern for you. MLS channels, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, etc. Yeah, these were the scenes in Atlanta. Wow, look at that tifo, stadium-wide, 70,000. Look at that cross from Jeff Lorenowitz. That was nice, Kalen. That's how you do it.
And the composure here. He just takes an extra little beat here to compose himself. What a fantastic finisher.
And then this is the moment of controversy. You know they're good at the set pieces, Doyle. You know they're going to Aaron Long at the back post. You knew video review was going to play a role.
You did. It was, well, we didn't at first, right? Because nobody could figure it out.
At some point it was going to.
But it was the right call. It's a tough call. It's bad luck for the Red Bulls, bad luck for Bradley Wright Phillips. And I thought they panicked a little bit after it, kind of lost their shape. And when you lose your shape against Atlanta United, and you lose your head a little bit against Atlanta United, you're going to be picking the ball out of the back of the net.
That's the right back, Franco Escobar. Yeah, this is Tito Villalba, Mo, and you made a funny face after he scored this one because this is just pure beauty.
It really is. I mean, he picks up the ball, and he finds that little bit of space, takes the first touch, chops it on his left foot, and when he puts it on his left foot, I'm not thinking he's going to shoot. I think he's going to chop it again, but he finds a way to bend that around the defenders, leaves the goalie in his stuck in his feet. He couldn't see the ball at all. He's blinded by them, and it's
unsavable.
Yeah,
it really is. It really
was the perfect shot in that scenario. Bobby, you were before this game giving us the lowdown on the tactical side of it for Atlanta United.
Yeah.
How did you think this game played out from both sides?
Definitely to Atlanta's favor. We were wondering if they were going to play the 4-3-3 that they put in the graphic before the game, and they went to the 3-5-2 that we expected. Often looked like a 5-3-2, but the biggest decision they made was not trying to play out from the back. And when they played September 30th, these two teams met, Atlanta tried to play from the back, and the Red Bulls were able to press them. Well, this game, when the Red Bulls did try and press guys, what did Atlanta do? They went long. So when we ask ourselves, why did Chris Armas sit deep? Well, it accomplished two things. One, if they were to try and press, it wouldn't have mattered. It would have been a bunch of duels in the middle of the field with Joseph Martinez, Miguel Almiron isolated on the two center backs. And two, if Atlanta had won those balls, or if Red Bulls had won those balls, Atlanta would have been in their deep shell, and Red Bulls would have had to break them down. So why did Red Bulls sit at midfield and wait? Well, it coaxed Atlanta out to try and create more space for when Red Bulls did win the ball to then attack.
Didn't work out in this case. Let's hear from Greg Garza out in Atlanta from Jillian Sakovits. Big win for them, big occasion in the ATL.
Greg, Atlanta United gets their first ever win over the Red Bulls when it matters most. Why was it today?
I think the intensity. We brought it to them today, and it's still not over. We still have one more leg to get to the final.
3 goals and the very important clean sheet. You don't allow them to get that elusive away goal. What allowed the defense to play so well here today?
Just the concentration levels were so high today. I think all of us did a wonderful job on the defensive side, and the guys even in attack. We started from the very front guys. So I'm very proud of the team tonight, and hopefully we can finish it off on Thursday.
What was said before this game? You said the intensity changed. Was it addressed before this game?
That was it. We had to match their intensity, something that we didn't do the past 4 times that we played them, and the 3 losses that we had against them. Today we put it to them.
4 games before this, Mo, they hadn't won any of them. They got wiped the 2 games they played this year against the Red Bulls. You said throughout this game, it feels a little different from Atlanta. How was it different?
Yeah, I think you just heard him say it there. The intensity was different. I think the last series we saw against NYCFC, that Atlanta showed a different side of them. They showed a little bit more grit, an ability to compete and win balls in midfield and win that midfield battle. And I think that translated here again tonight. They were able to show a high level of energy, a competitive nature that they didn't show in the earlier games against the Red Bull, and I think that was a big telling point for them in this game.
They didn't get bullied. This is the first time I think that they've played the Red Bulls and they didn't get bullied, and they didn't exactly bully the Red Bulls, but there was no point where they looked intimidated. And that play right there with Derek Etienne pulling out of a 50-50, if you have guys doing that at midfield, your defense is going to be up against it a little bit. And granted, this is a special goal from Villalba, but that just shows a little bit. I think Atlanta was just a little bit more up for it than the Red Bulls were. And even with the margins as fine as they are, these two teams in terms of overall talent, you can end up with a blowout if one team isn't competing for as hard as the other.
Doyle said something earlier that I want to get your thought on, Kaylin, and that is this kind of debating of who the best team was, and that it is Red Bulls. But Atlanta were that for most of the season until the very end. Am I wrong? Who is the best team, in your opinion, after watching this game? Does this change the Supporters' Shield, the regular season, those two matchups then, because it is crunch time?
Yeah, I think all the other stuff falls by the wayside once you get to this stage of the season, because you get a chance to prove it over two legs. And to me, I think the tactics were wrong from Armas today. I think it was too defensive, and I disagree with Bobby on the sense that I think you have to trust Parker and Long to say that, if we press, they can win those one-on-one duels with Almiron and with Martinez. And I felt like that trust wasn't there tonight from Armas to be able to set this team up in a way that was a little bit more reactive. And that's not where the Red Bulls are at their strength. They're best when they are the ones that get to set the tone for the game. And, do I step? Do I not step? There were some questions there. And that's not a position you see themselves in. And when you've been playing that way for so long, and then suddenly you play a little bit different, I think that, especially against this Atlanta United team, they were the ones to be able to dictate.
They got in, honestly, the Red Bulls got in their own heads because of this, because we've seen the Red Bulls, obviously the best pressing team that this league has ever seen. They proved that they're a very good possession team. What we've never seen from them is good counterattacking, because they have zero speed at all in that front four. And Atlanta knows that. So Atlanta was able to use possession to just push the Red Bulls deeper and deeper and deeper. It started as a middle block. By 30 minutes in, it was a deep block, and they were constantly defending in Luis Robles' lap. And when you're doing that, one error like what we saw from Tim Parker means you're playing from behind.
If it's not on set pieces, it's that pressure that's a chance creation. Paul Carr, if you don't follow him on Twitter, go do it right now. He's got the numbers on this game locked down. He said the Red Bulls finished with 0 possessions starting in the attacking third of their opponent. They averaged 11.3 this entire season. So all those opportunities where they picked it up in good positions, they were not there for them tonight, and they end up losing 3-0. Meanwhile, Brad Guzan and Atlanta United are jacked. They're going to have a great night in the city tonight, or maybe not because the game's on Thursday. But here's what he had to say after to our own Jillian Sakovitz.
Brad, Tata Martino said the key to this one would be matching their intensity, and you guys did that today.
Definitely. We talked about it all week leading up to the game, that we knew when we were up at their place, we didn't have it. And we've got a bit of a chip on our shoulder now. We need to go into Thursday, same attitude, same mentality. Can't take our foot off the gas.
You get the very important clean sheet. What allowed you to be so successful back there tonight?
No, the guys were fantastic. Putting pressure on guys, not letting guys turn. Just all the little things we did really, really well. And that was a huge part of it.
Red Bull Arena in a few short days. What type of game can we expect?
It's going to be similar to this. More intensity, obviously more pressure. These are the games you play for.
What do you think of the atmosphere here tonight?
Oh, it's fantastic. We're lucky. We're lucky, and every week they come out and turn out in huge numbers, and we can't be more thankful.
Brad, thanks so much for the time. Congratulations, guys.
Joseph Martinez just keeps scoring. Third of the postseason. 34, 31 in the regular season, 3 in the postseason. He has got the most now combined regular season and playoffs passing Roy Lassiter in 1996. Open goals. They're coming back for Joseph as well. Bobby, you got a little breakdown for us to explain how it happened, how he got so open, and how Jeff Aronowitz had time to pass.
That's right, and we've already mentioned that Red Bull sat a little deeper, and let's take a look at where it went wrong. And the thing to look at here is, as Atlanta rotates the ball over to the right, it's going to get to Jeff Larentowicz right here, and when he advances towards goal, just take a look at how much space he has. That's a big thing to note. He really doesn't have anyone within 7 or 8 yards of him, and he's, 30, 35 yards from the opponent's goal? That's not something you ever want, but let's take a look at how that happens and how Red Bull has allowed that. And remember, they're not a team that's used to sitting this deep. They're a team that likes to be higher up the field and pressing the ball, opposed to retreating and checking the angles and the players behind him. And this is the player I want you to look at. It's Daniel Royer. And notice Royer's movement here. He started up a little higher, and he ended up dropping back basically in line with the other 4 defenders to mark Franco Escobar as he went a little higher. Well, my problem with that is, as Royer drops, he loses his spot in midfield. Ideally, he would have stayed a little higher, stayed in line with his other midfielders, and let his left back, Connor Lade, take this player. But instead, Daniel Royer drops, and that's exactly where he should have been in that spot. And as a center midfielder, I always got frustrated when outside mids dropped to mark the player, because you can understand why they have the urge to stay with that player. What do you do when you defend? You try and make sure you've got a body on a player. But if you can stay smart, if you can stay confident in the system you're running, then you can just ensure that you're in the passing lane or you've got the angles cut off instead of having to stand right next to the guy. But if we go back to that original point, they're not used to playing this system. It's not like they've got a ton of confidence or a ton of muscle memory on how to do this.
You're also dealing with service that maybe they're not accustomed to dealing with as well. Jeff Renowit's wide open. He's going to put it on the money there. Tim Parker did not get his head on it, which he absolutely has to do in this situation. It's a multitude of things, Mo. This is not one thing, but the Red Bulls have to look at this performance and just say, we wasted an opportunity.
100%. I agree with you that they got to get pressure on the ball. You can't leave anybody, I don't care who it is on the pitch, you can't leave them that free, that close to the goal to play a ball in the box. So that part of it definitely has to be better. I'm going to be a little bit harsh. I think Tim Parker's got to do better on that play. He's got to make some kind of, if he's not winning the header, as the ball gets played in there, you're watching the trajectory of the ball. You can see, your ability, where you're positioned at the time, if you can attack that ball and win that header, or if you can't. And if you can't, then you're doing something to you're throwing Martinez off. You're either bumping him, being physical, doing something to make a play and make that a little bit more difficult for him. Challenging for that ball and missing it in that area, leaving it for Martinez, that's 100% going to be a goal every single time.
And it was. Absolutely it was.
And so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm being nitpicky and I'm being very, maybe I'm
not
being a little bit harsh.
Man. He missed the header.
Yeah.
He's got to make that play.
He's got to make a play on either the ball or on the player.
Didn't happen. That was the first goal. It might not have been the game, though, because there was an opportunity for the Red Bulls to get one back. They thought they had it. Here it is. The goal from BWP. This is what we expect from the Red Bulls. Get it on the set piece, get Aaron Long out wide, swing him around. Yep, the dummy and the goal. But there's Kevin Stott. He's saying, this isn't going to count. Well, why is that? Take a look at Alex Wheel, number 19 here. He is obstructing the vision of Brad Guzan, as the refereeing staff saw on this one, and boy, did it make a hubbub on Twitter. Here is that rule, Law 11. Interfering with an opponent by preventing them from playing or being able to play the ball by clearly obstructing the opponent's line of vision is an offside offense, as defined in Law 11. There was a lot of debate. Where do you guys stand on this one? For me, I don't love it. It doesn't seem to me like Brad Guzan's going to save this one regardless, but I don't think there's any doubt that he's obstructed on this play, and that's what he said afterwards. This is a teaching instrument from FIFA here that our own Matt Doyle found. You can see here, this is basically a carbon copy of what went down. Now, there is some debate. I need to know, where do you guys stand? Is this offside or no?
If this is not offside, then you would have players standing in front of the goalkeeper on literally every shot. And we actually saw it in MLS way back in 2006. They tried to fiddle with the offside laws a little bit, and the Red Bulls actually scored a goal against DC United by just putting a defender right in front of the opposing goalkeeper on a free kick. I think it was a Yuri Djorkaeff goal. Sorry for the deep cut right there. But there's a reason. This is the correct interpretation of the rule. The rule exists for a good reason. It is really bad luck for the Red Bulls because there was nothing intentional about it from Alex Muil. But that's the way the game goes, man. It's offside. VAR worked.
Yeah, I agree. I think both referees in both matches made some big calls, some difficult ones, and got them all right. At first glance, I think we all were confused and said, "Hey, that's a great goal."
We were yelling at the TV.
Yeah, and because from the side angle, you can't tell, but you do see he does obstruct the line of the path. He is involved in the play, an active participant in it. Whether Guzan was going to save it, I don't think so. But according to the law, it is a clear and obvious error.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it, but I agree. Unfortunately, I hate to say that I agree with the referees, but no, on this play, I think they did get it right.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that leaves a little bit of a bad taste in your mouth because as a neutral, you want that drama to be pumped up. Of course, we get Bobby Warshaw's take on this on instant replay after this goes down. Look, Red Bulls down 3-0. Is that too much? Is it over? I joked about Airbnbs and flights to Atlanta, but I wasn't really joking because history is absolutely not on their side. Nobody has done it when it pertains to leg 1, 3-0 into leg 2. Now, Doyle, there are some vagaries here. There are some weird little segments where it has happened, just not over 2 legs in that exact scenario.
Yeah, but all the teams that were trailing 3-0 after 1 leg lost, and you can see the list right there. But the teams have been down by 3 goals at various points in series and come back to win. Most recently, it was Toronto FC against Montreal in 2016. They were down 3-0, I think, by halftime of that first game. They came back to lose the first leg 3-2, which is fine. They turned it around. And then in that epic series back in 2003, San Jose versus the Galaxy.
Yep.
The Galaxy got off to a 2-0 lead or 2-0 win in the first game, 2-0 lead in the second game, then gave up 5 unanswered. So the Red Bulls need their miracle, man. They need something like that to happen again.
Any chance they get it? What do you guys think? Any chance?
I think to make it interesting, right, I think Red Bull, they could go at home, play an all-out attack formation and set up, which would obviously leave them exposed. They can score 3 goals, but I don't see them keeping a clean sheet. I don't see them not conceding at home, and I think that's the tell-all in that series. And Atlanta has shown that their attack is too potent to not score goals. So, long story short, I don't think they can.
Yeah, you could try anything. You can push Tyler Adams forward. You can break the game into thirds, try and get a goal in the first, second, and third. But to me, I think the third goal is the one that killed them in this one. And Villalba came on late in the match at 2-0. You still have a chance going back to Red Bull Arena. And I think that goal that was called back by Bradley Wright Phillips, or that he scored, Taylor Twellman said that it helped them. I think it really damaged them psychologically because 2-0 didn't feel enough for them. They felt they deserved more in it, and they kept searching and they kept searching. I actually think the substitution late to bring off Sean Davis in the 87th minute for Brian White was a bit over-aggressive to go forward. So maybe too sort of defensive to start and too aggressive to finish the match because Atlanta looked like the team that was more likely to get the goal that was still in the game, and sure enough, they did.
By the way, Atlanta, those weapons coming off the bench, a good bit better than the Red Bulls as well. Let's see what you had to say in the poll. What are the odds here? I'm going to guess Atlanta fans, as they always are voting a whole lot. Yes, no, all the way. Atlanta, Red Bulls fight but fall short, 30%. Then 13% of you think that a miracle is going to happen in Harrison.
That feels too high.
Andrew, what was the score last time Red Bulls hosted Atlanta?
3-1.
No.
2-0.
It was 2-0. What happened at the end of that game?
Kaku missed a penalty,
which would have made the score.
Right. It would have made it 3-0. So, it could happen. They're definitely good. They're definitely good enough to do it. They need to get Kamar Lawrence healthy, and they just need to play with wild, reckless abandon. But if they do that, I kind of agree with Mo. Yeah. Like you're gonna get hit. Like that Atlanta team, that version of Atlanta was not a bunker and counter team. Mm-hmm. This version of Atlanta will say, okay, bring it all forward. We'll go out and hit you on the break.
So does 28-3 have any relevance here? I'm just saying it's Atlanta. Sure. I'm just saying. I don't know if the Red Bulls have a equivalent there.
You know what has relevance? The Red Bulls had lost by multiple goals only once in their previous 48 games. Only one time in the past 14 months that they lost by more than a single goal. What a terrible day to have just a terrible outing.
Boy, Justin Martinez is getting comfortable in Atlanta. I'm waiting for them to take the Falcon down and put up a statue. Well, what do you have to do to get a statue? If they win MLS Company bags of Hattie, do they give them a statue? There's a lot of land around that stadium, and you can find a spot for it.
There's a lot of money to build a statue, too.
That's a good
point. Might as well.
All right. These playoffs have brought us some incredible moments. We had some tonight, of course, from Hector Villalba, from Josef Martinez. But let's look back now at one from Taylor Twellman. The bike. What a moment this was.
There's something about the playoffs. The weather, the smell of it, everything changes. Playoffs was something that really drove me further than I thought it would have if you would ask me freshman, sophomore year of high school. State high school final. St. Louis University High School versus DeSmet. It was our rival. I was a sophomore starting up front. The rest of the lineup was seniors. We had a penalty kick. None of the seniors wanted to take it. I took it, missed it, we lost 1-0. And I had my house egged. I had my car egged. I had vulgar stuff written, posted on my house. That was a turning point of, I'm gonna grow up, and I'm also gonna show up in big games.
That debuts Tuesday on the MLS YouTube channel. The Bike, Taylor Twellman's moment. You'll have to wait around to see that highlight. I do wish, though, that we had our Marisa Dew throwback photos from all the years, just like we saw from Taylor Twellman, just to get the vibe right tonight. We don't have that, but
I'm glad
thank you so much for joining us.
Got a clip of that goal in the Old Firm, though. That was a pretty big
I
goal.
see you retweeting that one every chance you get, pushing it
A couple
out there.
times here and there.
By the way, in the holidays, we got a nice podcast coming for you. Marisa Dew and I sat down for a little MLS story time, so take you all the way through his career. So tune in for that one. All right, let's take a look at the schedule on Thursday before we get you out of here and get you into the night. You got work tomorrow, I assume. Thursday starts at 7:30 p.m. Of course, the pregame show's at 7 right here. Red Bulls Atlanta. Can they turn it around? Well, we won't know till we know. FS1, TSN, TVA Sports, and then Sporting Kansas City, Portland Timbers, all knotted up at 0-0. Winner takes this one, or maybe the team that draws on the road takes this one if you're Portland. All right, the pregame show, 7 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. Audi MLS Playoff Central. We'll be here with Alan Gordon. You won't want to miss that one. It'll lead you right into the games. The perfect way to get things started. With that, off into the night you go. For Andrew Wiebe, Marisa Dew, Kalen Carr, Matt Doyle, Bobby Warshauer, producer Chris Karen, and the rest of the crew, have a great night, everybody. We'll see you soon.